Welcome back, patrons. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it very, very much. This is my take on the Diresta Witchblade. In the back, you'll see the skeleton blade that Jimmy Diresta had made. You will also see on the left the Tanto blade from the original Witchblade movie. That is in my video as an Easter egg. So this is the Leatherman Charge ALX, I believe. It is my favorite Leatherman. It has 2 bits. That way I'm able to swap between 2 different bits at any given moment. I don't think they make it anymore. I have 2 of them. One I'm using in this video, of course. Here you'll see me use the frog tape and draw the hand, which essentially I had to redraw this a few times and get used to the size that I would want, because I wanted to keep the Diresta logo on the back of the blade. It's much larger than Jimmy's original design, which is fine because I feel like I at least diverted enough to bring something new to the table. And that is the maker knife made by Jocko. I keep it at home, that way I don't lose it. And there I am laying out the handprint and drawing a little bit of extra metal, that way I got something to work with in the end. I had switched this bandsaw over to metal with the Bosch blade. I also have a stair blade for backup in case something went haywire. Here you can see me cutting, and I'm using paraffin wax, which is essentially just a candle wax. They do make cutting wax with a much more oily residue. I just tend to not go for it because I have this candle wax laying around right now and it's easy to work with. You'll see that I'm coming into the lines, digging into the middle. And someone had said to me, I could have drilled that out, and yeah, I could have. But when you're in the middle of filming, sometimes you want to capture a certain essence to the video, and this is what I was going after. That is my 1x30 belt sander that I had bought some new belts. I didn't film everything. I tend to cut through these scenes pretty quickly and just do quick changes, like you see the material change, the paint's being removed. That is a stone. I chose to go with a stone because I didn't like the way that the burr attachment was working. I just liked the stone better. It was just coming off a little bit smoother. And then that is, of course, the Milwaukee 90-degree sander. Great tool. I believe, sanding it right now. Yes. And then you'll see me do the other side, just so that way you know that it happened. I wanted to show a little bit of it being removed. And I think right here, yes, the needle file comes out. The needle file I had purchased to do this. I could have drilled it, like I said, but this is what I was going after with this video. Those are the brown Scotch-Brite pads, and next you'll see me use the red, which the red will bring it to more of a polish. Blue is for the finest polish, but I didn't really have to do all that because I'm getting ready to mark out the knife to start heating it and bending it. So this is Dykem. Dykem is a product that a lot of you guys probably know about. It's a great product. I use a heat gun to dry it even faster. It dries already fast. And I lay down the Leatherman, of course, and I use the ice pick to pencil in the marks that I'm going to cut. And I'm essentially going to cut a 90-degree angle out of it. That's what that burr was supposed to do. I didn't like the way that it was cutting. It was trailing off, you can see there. So I went and got a stone and I dug in a little bit more and just smoothing out those lines a little bit. And essentially I had to cut into it a little bit more. This metal was so cold from being outside that it took a while to get it to hold heat. You can see it's not really getting color at this point. I heated it up, gave it a couple smacks, started to bend it. Here it's finally starting to get the color though. And I think I had already dug into it at this point. Finger rolls. And yeah, here's a good angle where you can see where I'm starting to roll it more and more. I had turned my welder up to full blast during this whole thing, so that way I could just do these quick little swipes with it. And the welds, I think, came out pretty good. I mean, I'm not that great of a welder, but it did exactly what I wanted it to, and that was to fill that gap. And now I've got the metal heating up really good. Just using my Lincoln welding pliers to bend everything. And when I had originally showed this clip to Jimmy, showed the video to Jimmy, this is a clip that he said he would have maybe tried to go for some more angles, which is not a bad idea. I probably could have. I was a little worried at the time about the camera getting too hot. If I were to get too close, it could like melt the lens or something like that. So, and there's a good angle of me showing you that I was using the die grinder to cut it and kind of groove everything at that point. I just finally went with that situation. And you can tell that I'm clipping the clips and stacking them together, because you'll see the fingers turn orange and then they end up kind of darkening back up. But that's the name of the game in edits. Nobody said anything to me. I doubt anyone even noticed. Only you guys would probably really know now. There's the test fit. Worked out great. Came out good. And you can see I'm already starting to make a little bit of a mess. That is a key. I can't remember. I think it's 5/16. Not positive. But I welded that on. Tapped the knife out. I could have took the knife out, but I didn't. Wasn't really too worried about it. Came out really good. And then this die grinder is really, really good. It keeps up all day long with what the pneumatic does, but I don't have to hear the compressor run during the videos. It's a little bit longer, but I don't mind that actually, because the compressor is very, very, very hard to deal with in a video. Anytime I can go with battery recorded, I usually try to. And I'm just giving it a quick little hit just to make sure everything's flat, because I'm about to start stacking everything together. I want everything to line up straight. So that's a good dump of all the tools too. You can see everything that I'm kind of working with. I bring the Dicom back out, and at this point I'm not putting as much on because I didn't really have to. The knife shape that I was after was very unique. I had looked at a ton of shapes, and this is the knife shape that I didn't have to take that much metal off of. So I drop pointed it and I kind of indented it there. You can see the lines. And I had to grind, stick it in the water, grind, stick it in the water, because stainless does not like heat. That's why I'm using aluminum right here, because aluminum absorbs the heat. If you stack a piece of aluminum and you're doing any welding or anything like that, it'll absorb that heat. You can see here it'll look like I dig into only one part more than the other. That's because that was on an angle on purpose, and I wanted it to sit flat. So everything naturally sits flat inside the handle, and you can see here it looks really straight. Everything came out really good. I'm able to get the Diresta to fit. The hand looks great, and here I'm tacking the blade on, and basically that's it. Bam. And then this is a template. That template has stages on it. Each stage, there's about 5 or 6 stages that I cut, and in those stages I have a mark where I cut more and more and more off. You'll see later, if you look really closely down the inside of the sheath, it's shaped in a certain way to where the knife fits in there just right. Look very close later when you see the video. And this is obviously the back part. I left a long amount of metal on purpose, because like I said, I like to leave a little extra to work with. And that's essentially, I think that's the first stage I was cutting. Yes. So that's the first stage of the handle fitting, and you'll see that I'm about to cut the last one. I skipped the other 2 stages in filming because it was very repetitive. So there's that, and then I'm going to take this, I'm going to stick it in the vise, and I get my router out, and I use a 1/4 inch router bit and use lots of oil. I'm only taking like a 30-second off each pass. I knocked a lot of that footage out because it was just redundancy for you to watch me sit there and attack it for that long. Me just showing that it all works out, blowing it off. I love using the leaf blower all the time. That's a drill. Electrical tape on a drill bit can work really good. I put dowels in the knife sheath so that way I could feel a good stiffness when I was sanding everything. And that right there, that's the belt pass-through, the strap pass-through. That's for wrapping around the leg. And then that's a drill bit for tapping 440. You'll see in a second. I love using these little Lisley tap sockets. They're great. And then that gun, you can turn it down so it won't even snap that. There I am tightening everything up. And this is me tapping for a very special feature that I wanted to do. I wanted the knife to snap into place. So I was like, how can I do that? Well, if I divot it and I have a plunger ball bearing spring loaded set screw, yeah, that's the word. It's long, but that is essentially what you're going to see here. That is right here, the set screw, and it's got a ball bearing spring loaded in it, and I'm able to drive that down in, and essentially that little divot that I put in the knife snaps it in. Works really good. Cutting the edge of the handle off. Now I'm starting to speed up because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning at this point and I'm trying to get done. Cut out the insert. I could have drilled all that out too. Yes, like I said, when you're in the heat of the moment, that was my choice and it's for me, so I'm fine with it. I'm going for functionality with it. And this is a speed stitcher. It's a really cool little tool. I have plans to use it a little bit more. It's great for making repairs, doing little random things, and it's really great with this webbing. There's a ton of uses that I didn't even think you could use with this, so I'm definitely gonna have fun playing with this tool. And obviously I didn't have a lighter, so I just grabbed some matches that were laying around. And I'm doing the buckle part. The buckle part goes on the belt, so that way I can just snap the knife in and remove it if I ever need to. And you can see the mess that I've created. The knife's on the right side there. So I snap it in. Here I'm tying the belt around the leg, getting a size of everything. And I just used double slidable buckles. There's single sided and then double sided. I use double sided on the legs and I use single on the belt. And there I am testing it. And this leather strap is called the Super Strap. I can't recommend this product enough. It comes with some white compound, but I use Jeweler's Rouge after this, and then of course I use Turtle Wax in my whole little polishing system, and it's insanely sharp. I cannot believe how sharp that got. And here I am doing a little throwback to Jimmy's video of walking up, pulling the knife out, showing how it works, putting it back in. It has a great action. It's 100% one of the best actions I've ever felt. Very proud of this knife. Showing it, and you can see how trash my hands are at this point. That's aluminum on the knife, so you know that is just a residue picked up from the blade. And of course the ending. Okay guys, thank you very much. This has been an honor to my hero Jimmy, so thank you for following along. Thank you for being a patron. Take care guys.